So this morning we are headed northbound, early. We're gonna go visit Blair, this baker, a very popular, highly acclaimed baker, the single woman force behind Elmore Mountain Bread.
My name is Blair Marvin. I'm owner and head baker at Elmore Mountain Bread in Elmore, Vermont. I bake about 1,400 loaves of bread a week and deliver it around Lamoille County in the Northeast Kingdom. My goal here at Elmore Mountain Bread is to bake healthy, nutritious, flavorful breads using traditional methods and local organic grains sourced directly from farmers here in Vermont. For us to be able to have a vision of what we wanted to be producing for our community, and then how do we get there and how do we do that, bread was the perfect conduit for us, and it was a perfect challenge for us to be able to learn how to do that together. People care about where their milk comes from, where their cheese comes from, where their meat, their coffee, their chocolate, their hops. But nobody, until recent years, has ever thought twice about where their grain comes from. That story has a bigger effect on our global food systems and our nutritional health as societies as a whole.
Something that's really clear to me is that Blair is using bread as a way to tackle much bigger problems. Even in an agricultural state like Vermont, high quality, locally produced food is not always affordable. And so that's something that Blair is really trying to solve through bread. I think that philosophy, that revolutionary spirit, really shows in the way that she speaks and everything that she does.
I want the day that I fall over and I'm done to be while I'm doing this. And that's another reason why I've kept the bakery the size that it is too, is for very, very selfish purposes. I love every single piece and part of the process, from like working with the farmers and milling to be part of the process from start to finish. Is like extraordinarily gratifying for me. We knew that we were committed to baking with wood-fired oven because we loved it. We live in Vermont, thinking about natural resources. There's plenty of firewood around. We love, most of all, the tradition of baking with a wood-fired oven. But also, as we were learning more about the craft, we were understanding and learning that there was ways to adapt modern sensibilities and ideas and tools to make it more sustainable, profitable, efficient, and to make better bread. We realized that actually the answer for us was to not grow the bakery in the traditional sense of expanding or moving. We decided to grow by re-examining our relationship with our primary ingredient, which is flour. Also try to teach people that grains have so much flavor and personality and nutritional benefits above that, have really kind of been absent from our flour and cereal-based foods for the last 60 to 80 years.
What Blair and her husband Andrew found is that by using locally grown grains, they actually couldn't find access to mills because a lot of the nationally or internationally grown grains are produced on this commercial level and they all go to gigantic industrial mills. So as soon as they made the decision to use local grains, the milling process was the next thing that they had to solve.
I became good friends with a guy down in North Carolina, and I called him up and said, hey, I'm looking for a mill. And he said, well, nobody's really building a granite stone mill in the US with horizontal stones. So I found some stone, an engineer friend helped me to build the first frame and weld it up and built it for ourselves.
I have to note that there's something so poetic about Blair and Andrew being married, but also the fact that their businesses have such a natural synergy where they're trying to solve the same problem but at different concentric circles. It's just it's very beautiful. Do you ever think about the fact that your stone mills are milling flour that go into bread that have fed probably millions of people?
Absolutely. And so we're trying to replicate that same idea all over the world, the same idea where we're trying to build this community of bakers.
So I would say that my goal is to be able to demonstrate or to create a replicable model to show that a bakery of any scale can utilize local grains and through that support the local agricultural system.
It's like social innovation in a way, because you're innovating on the way that society is formatted, but through bread. Or it's kind of very rock and roll, where they just wanted a new sound, so they just made it.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's basically the greatest analogy I've ever heard in my
Don't you think?
life.
Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of like rock and roll of baking?
There's so many people who laid the groundwork to be able to do this. You know, like Randy at Red Hen, like he forged, you know, the first, like, you know, there's bakers here in Vermont who've laid the groundwork for us all to be able to get to this point. Yeah.
Well, there's always a lineage, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's one of the most badass things about Vermont is we have a lineage of people being revolutionary in our mindset and just doing it our own way.
We are very, very lucky here.
Yeah.
Very lucky in Vermont.
It's impressive how ruthlessly committed Blair is to this mission of bringing local grains to the local people. And so here she is today doing this distribution. And all of this is really just to close that loop in terms of bringing high quality, nutritious grains and just keeping it close to the source. It's tastier, it's healthier, and then it's economically just a more tight, robust system. This bread distribution, where Blair's bringing bread to her wholesale accounts, is the last step in her process of making this bread, bringing it to market.